Episode 30, Historia. Some years ago, the cadets of the 104th Cadet Corps complete a snowstorm training exercise, arriving at a base at the foot of a mountain. After some brief discussion among the cadets, Reiner announces that Krista is missing. Mikasa says that Krista had chosen to stick with Daz, who was performing poorly, but Reiner says that Daz as well as Ymir have not returned. Marco suggests that she may be with Thomas's squad, but Reiner points out that his squad just completed their course with Ymir, Daz, and Krista nowhere in sight. Worrying for their safety, Eren proposes organizing a search for them, and their training instructor says that a search will begin the next morning. Eren insists that it will be too late if they hold off on the search, but the instructor says that more cadet lives cannot be risked in the snowstorm. Elsewhere in the storm, Krista and Ymir make their way through a forest with Daz unconscious in a cot pulled by Krista. Ymir says that they will only survive if they abandon Daz and head for base together, but Krista insists that they can all survive if Ymir goes ahead alone while Krista takes Daz. Ymir notices that Krista has not asked for help during their entire course, and she realizes that Krista has no intention of saving Daz nor herself. She says that it would be very against Krista's character to bring about Daz's death while searching for her own heroic end, but Krista insists that such is not the case. Ymir brings up the fact that she is aware of Krista's true past, a daughter of a nobleman's mistress whose life was at risk. Recalling her days before training, Ymir reveals that while in the interior, she overheard the Order of the Walls discussing Krista's existence. Since an illegitimate child could not properly succeed the head of the family, they had considered ending her life. But in the end, it was decided that it would be enough to give her a new name and an inconspicuous life, eventually leading to her joining the Cadet Corps. Krista wonders if Ymir joined the Cadet Corps in order to find her, and Ymir proposes that it may be due to her own past being similar. Krista wonders if Ymir originally wanted to befriend her, but Ymir says that they are nothing alike. Unlike Krista, Ymir kept her old name after starting a new life, and abandoning her name would be to admit defeat. By living for herself, she robs her enemies of their power. Ymir scolds Krista for looking for death rather than directing her feelings towards her enemies, and Krista says that there is no longer any way for all three of them to survive their mission. Ymir leads Krista to a cliff overlooking the base at the foot of the mountain and proposes tossing Daz over the edge so that she and Krista can make it to base alive, while Daz can be searched for later. When Krista objects, Ymir takes matters into her own hands and throws her aside into a snowbank. Ymir wanders off while Krista is submerged, and there is a flash of light in the distance. When Krista escapes from the snow and returns to the cliff, Ymir and Daz are nowhere to be found. Back at base, Eren prepares to head outside and search for the others, and Mikasa and Armin decide to help. Reiner and Bertholdt also decide to join, bringing more equipment for the trip. Connie, Marco, and Sasha agree to come along as well. Suddenly, a loud crash like thunder is heard outside, and the cadets head outdoors to investigate. In the distance, Sasha spots Ymir dragging Daz through the snow. Sometime later, Krista arrives and spots Ymir outside the base. She asks about Daz, and Ymir shows her that Daz is safe indoors. Upon looking at the cliff from the ground, Krista sees that such a descent would be impossible without rope. Ymir decides to reveal to Krista how she saved Daz, but only if she promises to live by her true name when her secret eventually becomes known to everyone. Years later at Utgard Castle, Ymir leaps into the horde of titans below. Ymir thinks to herself that she and Krista were the same in their youth, hated by the world, and believing that things would be better had they not been born. To bring happiness to many people, Ymir gave up her life, but upon receiving a second chance, she decided to live only for herself. Slitting her palm with Connie's knife, she triggers the power of the Titans and transforms into her own Titan form. Ymir's Titan descends into the horde and begins slaughtering Titans one after another. From atop the tower, the other recruits look on in disbelief at the scene. Reiner and Bertolt stare in horror as they recognize Ymir's Titan as the one that ate their friend 5 years ago. Ymir's combat shakes the tower, and Krista nearly falls, but Reiner catches her in the nick of time. She thanks him, but in a moment of dissociation, he keeps his grip on Krista's ankle, unconsciously squeezing her. After Krista and Connie eventually snap Reiner out of it, he asks Krista if she was aware of Ymir's powers. She claims that she never knew despite how close they were, and Reiner realizes that Ymir possesses knowledge the rest of humanity in the walls does not. Connie says that Ymir was seemingly aware of her powers, unlike Eren when his Titan form first appeared in Trost. The recruits begin to wonder where Ymir's allegiances lie and what her goals are. Ymir's fight with the Titans begins to go downhill as she is overpowered. She clutches to the bricks of the tower but lets go after the bricks begin to slip. The others realize that Ymir does not want the tower to fall and that she is protecting them rather than escaping. Krista cries out to Ymir, scolding her for her selflessness. She tells her to live for herself and destroy the tower if that is what it takes to defeat the Titans. Hearing Krista's words, Ymir begins to tear the tower apart, throwing bricks and rubble at the Titans. As the tower begins to collapse, Ymir leaps to the top and tells the others to grab onto her if they want to live. Ymir's Titan finds a safe position atop the tower as it collapses on top of the horde, crushing many beneath the rubble. After the dust clears, some Titans begin to emerge from the rubble. Ymir returns to the fight, but her Titan is quickly overpowered and outnumbered as more Titans climb out of the stone. The Titans rush her and begin to eat away at her Titan, tearing it apart as the recruits stand by, unable to help. Krista begins running to Ymir, calling out to her and reminding her of their promise. Krista stops in her tracks when a Titan turns a corner in front of her and reaches out, when suddenly a scout flies by and slices the Titan's nape. The scout, Mikasa Ackerman, tells the other recruits to stand aside while the scout regiment finishes the fight. The Titans are overwhelmed as the scouts from the assault on Stohes finally arrive at Utgard, with Section Commander Hangji leading the charge. Hangji tells them to disperse and canvass the area, and for the rest of them to follow them to the Titans' gathering and cut them down. Eren flies ahead against orders and slices the nape of a Titan, his first official kill as a human soldier. Keiji scolds Eren for rushing ahead, and the other recruits rush to Eren's side to reunite with their friend. In little time, the ruins of Utgard are cleared of all Titans. When the battle is over, the newcomers are shocked to learn of Ymir's Titan powers. Krista comes to Ymir, her limbs missing and her body grievously wounded from her Titan battle, and she keeps her promise. Krista reveals her true name, Historia, and Ymir slips into unconsciousness with a warm smile. Next episode, Warrior.